Everyone wants to look like Dr. James on steroids, but some end up starring in their own What Went Wrong documentary. So what is the secret to avoiding the old inject now and regret later approach? Here's how you get it right before things go wrong. You wouldn't cut random wires on a dangerous device, so why guess your dosages or compounds? As it all comes down to one thing, making the right moves at the right time. And just like Jason Bourne uncovering the truth, he doesn't rely on luck to beat the odds. So today is about hacking the system, a clear step-by-step path to avoiding side effects and playing it safe, Dr. James style. Some like to think blood work means checking vitamin T and estrogen now and again and then calling it a day. That's like checking your bank balance without looking at the credit card bill. It might look fine now, but there could be a red alert somewhere under the surface. To stop those bad things getting triggered, we need a steroid cycle survival checklist, also known as a full panel.
Wait, what is a full panel?
It's a complete health checklist, giving you a real-time snapshot of your hormones, organ health and metabolism. It's clarity on demand, so you know exactly where you stand with your health before or during the cycle. Think of it like Bourne checking over his passports and preparing for his next move. Every detail matters before he goes all in. This is what a full panel looks like. Complete blood count. It's your body's intel report. Red blood cells, hemoglobin, hematocrit. If these are too high, your blood is turning to sludge. Complete metabolic profile. This is your system's diagnostics. Liver function, kidney health, and electrolyte balance. Too much free test is going to wreck your sleep and ramp up aggression. It's essential to stay calm and controlled. Bourne was one that always stayed calm under pressure. Do you? Estradiol, the number one thing to check. Keep it balanced between 20 and 50. One slip or mismanagement from an additional compound or too high dose, and the whole operation goes sideways. Prolactin, when it's elevated, suppresses dopamine. This impacts libido and mood. If you're running DECA, TREN or MPP, this check is a must. Cortisol. If it's too high, you're overtrained or burnt out. Too low, and your body's on the verge of collapse. It's like running 10 apps on your phone with 1% battery. So it's time to recharge before things crash. The lipid panel. Steroids can tank your HDL and send your LDL soaring. Don't wait until you're in the danger zone. Always strategize and deploy a smart lipid management plan. Thyroid. If your T3 is low, your body fat burning might be slow and your thyroid's given up. With your body's metabolic control, precision with dosing is essential. Hemoglobin A1C. If you're over 20% body fat, this is the truth serum. Whether it's too much GH, insulin resistance, or bad habits, this is going to expose a garbage diet. High sensitive C-reactive protein. If it's high, there's inflammation. So consider the CRP as a warning sign. If it's high, your plan is definitely off track. Now, with all these markers in front of you, don't be that guy who treats blood work like a fire alarm. You ignore it until everything's burning. Because if you wait for side effects to show up before checking your labs, you're basically playing guess and stress with your own body. Alright, so we're ready to investigate our health. But how do you get blood work checked without lots of interrogation at the doctor's office? A lot of guys avoid blood work because they don't want to have to deal with the doctor giving them the old, "Are you on steroids?" look. Guess what? You don't have to go through your doctor. There are private labs out there, companies who specialize. You get your results, they keep their opinions. So you can get your blood work done privately with 3 methods. Find a walk-in lab in your area. No doctor, no lecture, just straight up data. Online lab services. If you've got Google, they're very easy to find. Order what you need, go to the lab, get it done. Or there'll be a nurse that comes around your place, takes the blood, and then messages you the results the next day. The third option is your grandmother. Go round hers, tell her you're on gear. She's going to take one look at you and say, "Dear, you're fine. just make sure you're eating enough potatoes. And Bloodwork will just magically show up the next day. No questions asked. And if you do have to go through your local doctor, just be smart about it. No need to say anything like, "Hey doc, I'm on 400 tren, where's my prolactin at?" Speaking of face slaps, let's talk about when everything is running smoothly. Confidence is high, you feel great, and then someone decides to throw in more gain juice. And then boom, you're living in side effect city, and you're wondering what went wrong. Fact, steroids is a game of musical chairs? No. It's a game of moving targets. The misconception out there, geezers can map a cycle out from start to finish. So for weeks 1 to 16, all dosages and compounds are locked in, and they're just following blind instructions like a robot. With that in mind, consider this. If our biomarkers are constantly shifting based on what we're taking, how can we predict in advance what needs to be adjusted or increased? Therefore, a cookie cutter plan is nothing more than a guessing game. What is a smarter approach? Making the right adjustments at the right time using real up-to-date data. And that's why monthly blood work is crucial to avoiding side effects. And let's remember, it's not about one biomarker. It's about seeing how everything fits together with what you're taking. All the anabolics have their own unique characteristics. Some health markers can shift very fast. So by the time you analyze your results, they could be already outdated. It's kind of like checking last week's weather to see if you need an umbrella today. The bottom line is, side effects from juicing up don't just appear from thin air. They're kind of your body's way of waving a red flag saying, "Mate, I cannot keep up with your poor compound choices." You know the problem with this steroids game? Every compound affects the next, and things change rapidly. So before you make a move you can't take back, let's look at a few compound characteristics and how they affect your blood work results. Testosterone is the foundational base. It's the kingpin, but stack too much of it with nandrolone and estrogen will explode, and now you're in big trouble. High blood pressure, mood swings, and enough water retention to start a small aquarium. So the solution is keep testosterone low to moderate if you're front running nandrolone. But if you're running those two, primobolan often makes sense. It will keep your estrogen levels in check so you can push the test and nandrolone higher if needed. That all works out fine unless you got your primobolan from a very sketchy source and it's fake. Get ready for some high estrogen and emotions so unstable even your gym playlist starts playing breakup songs on its own. Oh, Adele. No, I like Adele. That's good. But then again, if you push your primo up too high without an estrogenic counterbalance, like more test or nandrolone at the right times, estrogen is going to crash. Now your joints feel like they need WD-40 and your mood is flatter than a protein pancake. Some like to choose Marstron as a drying agent because it is ideal if you're combating the bloat from test and nandrolone or even pre-workout debol. But if you go overboard with the Marstron, now your DHT is through the roof, and if estrogen drops too low, you're in for dry skin, hair loss, and an uninvited guest called acne. I often refer to nandrolone as joint juice. Perfect for injuries, but don't get too comfortable as it can screw up prolactin and dopamine, and you're going to be stuck in neutral mode. And when you're like that, even if you hit a PB, you won't even crack a smile. And then there's Anavar, the pre-workout cheat code, sublingual before training. That's the best way to use it. Strength goes up, veins come out, aggression is dialed in. The flip side, it's going to crank up your liver enzymes faster than some gym bro adding extra plates for an ego lift. And don't even get me started on Tren, Winstrol or Anadrol. Those things don't just nudge the biomarkers, they kick the door down and set the place on fire. All of this seems a bit confusing. So how do you find the right balance? Well, you could spend hours of researching or just subscribe to the Dr. James show. Anyway, the truth is no one really gets it perfect from day one. Hormones shift, blood work changes. What looked great in week 2 might be wrecking you in week 8. And the guys who feel amazing all cycle, they track and they fine tune everything, because they're not just taking compounds, they're engineering a perfect ride. Get it wrong and you've just got a full-time job fixing side effects. Now, if you think you need some help and guidance on your mission to level up, you can reach out. There's a link below this video, and if you hit that link, I'll get back to you faster than a load of side effects kicking in. The next video coming up, how Anavar might be worse than Tren. Crazy, I know. So today you've been watching the most electrifying man in anabolics, hands down. Now these are not my words, lads. They're from Pig12345, who is clearly on the right stack. I'm Dr. James, and I'm out.